This is Tim with Mold Medics, and today I'm going to be talking about the differences between professional radon testing and DIY radon testing. So to start us off, I went into the Big Blue Box store and picked up one of these radon gas test kits. This one in particular is from First Alert, but they're available from a variety of different companies at pretty much any of your home center stores. This one in particular was I believe $15, under 20 bucks for the test, and we'll get into what all it came with. So inside the box, the first thing you're going to get is the radon sampler. This is a charcoal test kit, so this is going to absorb the air and the gas and everything into the charcoal, and then this gets sent to the laboratory for analysis, and that's going to give you your radon reading. It's really important that you follow the included instructions to a T to make sure that your test results are actually valid. If you don't follow the instructions correctly, your test results can be all over the place and they're not going to be a good source of information to go off of. Also included is the chain of custody. So this is a document that you'll fill out. There we go. It's going to have all of your information, all of the information about the test kit, so the serial number, when the test was started, ended, why it was being tested, where it was taken, all of that. So you send in this along with the sampler, and that all goes into this little shipping pouch, and this gets sent back to the laboratory, and they're going to analyze it and send you back the results. Something you want to watch for when you're purchasing these is the actual cost. So the cost for the device or the test kit itself is going to vary a little bit from manufacturer to manufacturer. What's important to note is that's not the only cost that you have to factor in. On some of these, the three different costs that you're going to have are the test kit itself, the laboratory fees, if there are any, and the shipping fees, if there are any. So on this one, it is the cost of the kit. They have no laboratory fees separate, that's what it says right on the box, but you do have to cover shipping to send it back to be tested. On some of them, they may cover shipping but not lab fees, or they may cover neither. So that's something you want to really look at because the fees can be all over the place. One of them I looked at was about the same price up front for the test kit, and I don't remember their policy on shipping, but you had, I think it was $40 in laboratory fees, making it significantly more expensive than this one. So that's something you really want to watch out for. Also, if you're concerned about price, you should contact your state Department of Environmental Protection or whoever handles radon in your particular state, because a lot of them have programs for free test kits with free analysis. And sometimes you just pay for shipping, sometimes that's already included. So if you're looking for the lowest possible cost, those can be a really, really good option. The pros for these, they're readily available. Like I mentioned, they're available pretty much anywhere. They've got the lowest costs of any type of testing that you're going to do, which is very good, including the free option. And that's pretty much it. They don't give very detailed reports, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. And they're pretty limited and they're very subject to user error. So that's some stuff that you really want to look out for. You also, if there is user error in the collection, you don't know that has occurred. So you don't necessarily know that you did things wrong, and you could be taking your test results and assuming that they're correct, and finding out that you wouldn't really find out unless you had another test done, that something was done incorrectly and the results that you've been relying on were not valid. There are some certain circumstances when you want to use these and when you don't. So these are really for your information as a homeowner or as a resident of the property, so you can understand what the radon levels are in your home and what you and your family are being exposed to. These are not to be used for a real estate transaction, and they should not be used anytime the property could be changing hands. So if you're thinking about moving in another year or so, these results can't be relied on for that residential transaction, that real estate sale. So only for your information, not for any other purposes really. Moving on to the professional options. So professionals will occasionally use kits like these. They're going to look a little bit different, but they'll use 2 at a time to help ensure that they get reliable, trustworthy data. And there's a bunch of different other types of tests that you'll come across, but generally it's going to be typically one of these charcoal test kits, or 2 of them if it's professional, or one of these or a similar version. This is the Radon AirCat. This is a CRM, or a continuous radon monitor. This is what a lot of your professionals are going to be using. This is what our team at Moldmedics uses as well. So some of the benefits to these, they're going to give you a lot more detailed of a report. They're going to give you much faster results because you're not waiting for it to be shipped back to the lab and then be analyzed and then have the results sent to you. So you're going to get much faster results. You're going to get much more detailed results. They're going to be very useful in a real estate transaction. So if you're buying or selling a property, particularly if you're on the buyer side, you want to make sure they're using a CRM, and ideally they're using one that has some good tamper resistance to it. And they're following other protocols to increase the tamper resistance. We talk about tamper resistance with real estate transactions because, for instance, with the charcoal test kits, it's very easy to doctor the result. So it'll be really easy for a seller, if they weren't very moral or ethical, to take this after it's been left for a test, put it into, say, a Ziploc bag and leave it sealed until an hour or so before the tester comes back to pick it up, and then you're going to have poor, unreliable results and not really know. There's a bunch of different tamper-resistant processes that inspectors can do to make sure they're getting good results. But the nice thing with the CRMs, a lot of them have these baked in. So this thing will detect if it has been moved, if the power cord's been unplugged. It also gives you full details on the temperature and humidity, which can give you a lot of real good information for if the results have been manipulated in some way, shape, or form. Now we're going to talk about the sample reports that you would get from the different testing options, both DIY and professional. So this is a sample. This is from Alpha Energy Labs, which is the laboratory used in this test kit. So you can see it's got all the basic information about the project, some information about radon and the health risks associated with it. But whenever it comes to the actual analysis, this is all you have here is this radon level. So it's just going to give you one number. It's going to be measured in picocuries per liter, which is how we measure radon exposure in the US, radon levels in the US. And that's pretty much it. As we go through the rest of the results, it gives you some more charts and additional information to help interpret your results. But that's really it in terms of the actual reporting on the data. Now, whenever we go over to the Radolink CRM, here you can see it's got all of the information about when the test was started and ended and everything. As we get down here, we get into the readings per hour. So you can see every hour that the test was running, we can see the radon reading for that hour. And then it also has the section for flags, where we can see if there was a tilt involved. So if the monitor was tilted or knocked around in any way, indicating that it could have been moved. Or if there was a power disruption, indicating that it could have been plugged and possibly relocated or anything like that. So those are all going to be, or it's going to give us our full hour by hour, so we can get a much better idea of the fluctuations of the radon levels in the home throughout the course of the test period. Then going down, we also get, for the same periods, temperature readings, as well as humidity and pressure readings. All very good because this is again going to give us more information that could tell us that the test was potentially manipulated. So you can see throughout here, the temperature was pretty consistent. We've got a high of about 59 degrees, down to about 50 degrees. But if we see that the temperature dropped down significantly during the test period, it could be that the homeowner opened a window and let a bunch of air in. If it's winter, we'll see that temperature drop significantly, and we'll see some oddness in the readings here that can help tell us that possibly the results have been manipulated and that they may not be reliable. Same thing down here as we go, we can see the graphs. This one's temperature and humidity throughout the test period. This is a really interesting one because it shows the radon levels in picocuries per liter across the testing period that it was done. So some people will ask, why do we need to do at least a 48-hour test for radon, even for a short-term test? This is why. If we're only sampling for a very brief period of time, we can get certain periods where the results are a lot lower, certain periods where the results are a lot higher. So if you look, say, from 18 to 24, so this is a 6-hour period. If we were to take an average of just this 6-hour window, it would look very different than, say, this 6-hour window here. So by taking a longer sample, we're going to get a more accurate number. It's going to be more accurate to the average radon levels in the home throughout a longer period of time. And you can see the green line here is just the average over the entire test period. So it goes above the line, goes below the line, and that's perfectly normal to see that level of fluctuation throughout the course of the test. And then down below we have the additional information that they provide about the test and how it's done and everything. So you definitely get a very different caliber of test and different level of data whenever you use a professional that's using a continuous radon monitor versus just the basic charcoal test kits. So it really depends on what your goals are for your home as to what type of testing you use. If you're selling your home or if you're buying a home, I would definitely recommend going with a professional that's using a continuous radon monitor so you can get a lot more quality information. It's going to be faster, it's going to be more consistent and accurate. But if you're just kind of curious what the radon levels are in your home, one of these DIY test kits can be a good starting place. And it can give you indication that, hey, maybe the levels came up kind of high on this and I'd like to get a better quality, either professional test done or possibly a long-term test. And that can be a really good option to have as well. So it really depends on your situation and your budget as to what's going to be best for you. Like most things in life, there's no one definite answer that fits to everyone. So hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or reach out to us online. Thank you and have a great day.